This month, the luxury beauty world did not hold back. We saw sleek new formulas, limited edition drops, and a whole lot of products claiming to be your next holy grail. But you and I both know that not everything with a designer label is worth the splurge. If you were feeling tempted by the latest Chanel, Dior, and Prada Beauty releases, pause. I have tested these so that you don't have to. And trust me, some of these delivered true luxury and others total disappointment. So once again, in this month's Luxe Edit, I am giving you the final word on what is worth your luxury beauty wish list and what you can confidently skip. Let's get into it. The Prada Beauty Highlighters. My wallet is crying. These are $90. I know, the audacity to charge $90 for one highlighter. And sadly, guys, sadly for my wallet, these are one of the best luxury highlighters that I've ever tried. Definitely one of the best products that I've tried this year so far. I was hoping when I saw the sneak peeks of this product that these were gonna have the same slightly creamy, slightly emollient, very smooth formula that we get from the Prada Beauty eyeshadows, which are some of my favorites. And that is exactly what they delivered. This is one of the most natural looking highlighters that I've ever tried. They are incredibly smooth, and as I said, they're a little bit creamy and emollient so that when they blend into the skin, they really just melt into the cheekbone like butter. They don't have a lot of they don't have any really visible sparkles or glitter. It's almost like a very nice hydrated sheen. This is the closest that you can get to that natural look that you would get from a cream highlighter, except you don't have any greasiness, any stickiness. You don't get your hair, clinging to your cheekbones or anything like that. These are so beautiful and divine. I already ordered the other two shades. I decided to pick it up first in the pink, which is really beautiful if you have fair skin or maybe like a pinky or cool undertone. I love these. And of course, with Prada Beauty, these are refillable. They also come with a really beautiful, luxurious packaging. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions, understandably so, about what are these similar to? Like, how do these compare with other luxury highlighters? So I'm gonna show you guys some swatch comparisons. These really, I gotta be honest, they're really not similar to most things that I have. The formula that is the most similar, I would say almost exact, maybe not quite as creamy, is the Dolce & Gabbana highlighter. That one is so good, but unfortunately it only comes in one shade, whereas the Prada ones thankfully come in 3 shades, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some added, to the line as time goes on. I don't think that these are similar to the Dior. I don't think that these are similar to the Hermes. The Gucci ones do have that kind of squishy texture to them, right? Kind of like a cream highlighter would, but they are much more blingy. They are much more reflective. You'll see the swatch comparisons of a bunch of the ones I'm talking about right here. So you can kind of see for yourself and decide what would work for you. It really isn't that one is better than the other, but what I want to communicate here in this Luxe Edit is that these Prada highlighters are really good if you don't want something too blingy. If you want something that looks really natural. The shades are not very groundbreaking, but if you fall into that category of wanting something very subtle, I would consider checking this out. And Prada Beauty, please come out with some blushes in this formula because I will go wild for those. Please come out with some blushes in this beautiful, creamy, natural formula. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to be enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you are new here, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Sophia and I upload new videos just like this every single week, all about everyday beauty and accessible luxury style. I film all of my beauty demos in natural light with no filters. We like to keep it real, honest, and fun here on this channel. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button to join our fam. We seriously would love to have you. And all the products that I'm talking about today, all the shades that I mentioned, comparison products, the makeup that is on my face, everything, it's all going to be in that description box down below or on the shopping button on the screen. The YSL Mini Couture Clutch eyeshadow palettes. We are being blessed this season with 4 new colorways, which I think are permanent. Correct me down below if I'm wrong on that. Unfortunately, only 2 of the colorways have been released so far in the US, so those are the 2 that I picked up. By the way, I'm not sure when the other ones are being released. I will keep you updated. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and more importantly, following me on my Instagram because that's where I let you guys know these kinds of quick updates. As soon as I know the details or I see things drop, I let you know on my Instagram, so I'll link that down in the description box. But anyway, the 2 that did came out, I'm gonna share my thoughts with you today. The first one is called Sunrise Safari. This one, I feel like it's a skip for a couple of reasons. The first, well, this is maybe more of a personal beef, but the first thing is that I don't feel like this palette looks like the promo photo. I thought the promo photo looked more warm, more summery, maybe a little bit, coral vibes, but in fact, this is just your standard pink palette. And this is something that I really want to emphasize. This gives me total Charlotte Tilbury vibes. If you have anything Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, that's kind of what this is. So it's a beautiful color story. It's very wearable, but it's very Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I would say that out of the other YSL palettes, the one that this is the closest to is Spontini Lilies. So if you already have that one, you can see the comparison there. They're pretty similar. Babylon Roses is another pink palette in the line. That one, however, is more like a true pinky purple, whereas this new one, Sunrise Safari, is like a pinky nude a la Pillow Talk once again. And then the third reason why I would say this is a skip is because the topper shade in this palette is just a bit too chunky for my liking. There's something about this topper shade that isn't as smooth as the other ones in the other palettes. These palettes, by the way, if you're not familiar with this formula, the kind of like mattes and satins, they're very smooth. They're kind of creamy, not unlike the Prada Beauty formula, but I think almost every single palette comes with at least one shimmer shade. And they are pretty sparkly, but in a very finely milled, very kind of grown-up sort of way. This one, it's a bit too chunky for me, so I would say skip on Sunrise Safari. However, the other palette, which I'm wearing on my eyes today, is called Captivating Dunes. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love the name. Very exotic. This is not a groundbreaking color story either, let's face it, guys. It's another cool-toned neutral palette. However, if you like cool-toned neutral palettes, if you're looking for something in this tone, this one I think is really beautiful, very sophisticated. I didn't have any issues with any of the shades in this one. I think you just need to ask yourself, do you have something that's pretty similar? I'll show you a couple of comparisons here. I got a lot of requests for comparisons with this palette. The Stora Dolls palette, that one is more neutral and it's a little bit softer. Captivating Dunes is cooler in tone. I also think you can go a bit smokier, so you kind of have that option. Over Brun, another popular shade in the YSL line, that's gonna be more toasty. That's more of like a chocolatey type of vibe. And then Over Noir, that is gonna be more smoky. You can create more of like a silvery, smoky eye, glamorous type of look with that palette. So again, they're all kind of like neutral, brownie, cool tone palettes, but they do have their differences. So hopefully those comparisons help. Aw, look who came over to say hello. It's Minnie. Woo! I'm working. Go nap. Go nap. Please excuse the cat hair. Let's talk about some new luxury blush releases. Now, we had two releases from Dior. We had the newly reformulated Dior Backstage blushes and also the Backstage cream blush sticks. I already did full reviews on those formulas, but I will cover them a little bit in this video, and we're also going to do some comparisons because Kozakh also released new shades of their Blushes Life baked blushes. And I know Kozakh, it's not a luxury brand, but I feel like they have some good products that are good luxury alternatives in the prestige category, and these blushes definitely fall into that. I like to say that these are typically a good alternative to like the Hourglass blushes, for example. They are so beautiful, and they have graced us with 3 new juicy shades for summer. So first off, we have the shade Heartbeat. This is a vibrant red, a very trendy color for the past year or so. This is very, very pigmented, as you can see. We also have the shade Chills, a cool, vibrant berry. Again, very, very pigmented. And finally, we have Wavelength, which is described as a warm peach. I really like these shades. I think they're so beautiful for summer. And if you are new here, I am not afraid of very pigmented blush. I like a red blush. I like a deep plum. I like pigmented blush. However, I'm so sad to say these kind of have disappointed me. I don't know what it is, but something that I've noticed with all 3 of these is that the formula feels a lot drier and not as radiant as the ones that they originally launched last year. And I'll kind of show you what I mean. Here are some of the lighter shades. These are much silkier and they're more radiant. They have more luminosity. They give more of like an airbrush look to the skin. I feel like these new ones, they're a little bit hard to work with. They're a bit drier and they come across a bit more patchy on the skin. And I tried a bunch of different brushes, guys. I really tried to make these work. They're just a bit fussy to apply. I don't know, comment down below if you've had the same experience as me. I love the colors, but the formula is just not doing it for me. It doesn't feel the same as the other shades, and I have most of the ones in the line, and I've went back, you know, kind of comparing the two. If you are going for a more pigmented blush, I actually would go for the new Dior Backstage formula. If you missed my review, they reformulated those blushes and they have made them more silky and creamier as well. They're a lot easier to work with. So if you're looking for like that bright red blush, because I know that color is very popular, I would check out the cherry shade from the Dior line. You can kind of see a side by side here. The color is almost exact on the cheeks, but I just think that the formula is much easier to work with. I know it's more expensive, but in this case, I do think that it is worth it. Also, putting these new blushes aside, if you are looking to try a bright color, but you feel like it's too much, or you feel like the formula is kind of hard to work with, you overdo it, it's patchy, anything like that, I also might recommend to you a cream to powder formula. Rare Beauty came out with those, what are they called, like the bouncy blushes. They have some really beautiful shades that are very similar to these new ones from Dior and Kozakh, except they're very easy to work with because they're not quite a powder, they're not quite a cream, they're very pigmented, but I think that they're very buildable and you can sheer them out. They're never patchy. Chanel also has some beautiful cream to powder blushes. They're more expensive, but you know, you got the Rouge Franc shade, which is so beautiful. You just need to use a lighter hand. So if you have trouble with these very pigmented blushes, I would recommend going with that cream to powder formula, or you can go for like more of a true cream formula, something very dewy, which is what we got. Segue, see what I did there, with the Dior Backstage cream blush sticks. I already did a full review of these, so I'll link it down below if you want to see, you know, every single shade swatched, applied to the skin in natural light. You can check that out after this video, but just as kind of like a recap and to reaffirm what I said in the video, I think these are beautiful. However, if you don't like a dewy formula, these are not going to be for you. Then I would recommend the powder blushes. The powder blushes are very long lasting. The cream ones, I mean, they say they're long lasting. Guys, they're not any more long lasting than any other dewy blush that you might have in your collection. I wore the cherry one the other day out in the heat. It was like 80s and I walked to the farmer's market, you know, came back, like I was out for a couple of hours in the summertime weather, and it definitely had faded and it was not as glossy and dewy as when I first put it on. So like the gloss is going to fade and the color is going to fade a little bit, but the blush was still, like the color was still definitely on my cheeks and I still thought it looked cute. But don't expect these to look exactly as they do when you put them on your cheeks like hours later, especially in the summertime heat. And I would say for me, like if I am going out in the heat, these are definitely going to be something that I wear with like my hair up in a clip or in a bun, which I frequently do. And that's kind of when I go for more of my dewy looks. The colors between the cream and the powder are exactly the same. It's really just the formula. The most popular shades do seem to be the cherry, the candy, and the toffee, if that helps you with your decision at all. The lip butters, however, I think are just a waste of money. I already mentioned I hate the packaging on these, and not because of the little charm. I actually think the little charm is very cute and fun, but the actual component feels very cheap, and it just feels like there's barely any product that you get for $42, which by the way is more expensive than the blushes, which are gonna last you a really long time. I don't really get much pigmentation from these. They really don't have much longevity at all. I'm wearing the black cherry on my lips right now, and you probably couldn't even tell because this is the exact color of my natural lips. Like I've only been sitting here filming for a little bit, guys, and it's already worn off all of the shine. There's just a little tint of color. They are very moisturizing. They do plump a little bit without, you know, stinging and burning your lips too much. So I like that. Very hydrating. I've kind of just been putting them in my purse and like using them as a lip balm because I did purchase them after all. But am I going to purchase more? No, I'm not. And I'm not going to be recommending these on my channel. I just think they're very overpriced and the value just is not there, and we can save our money for other luxury makeup. Let's talk about some bronzers because summer is here, and as you could see, I could use a little bit of a bronzy glow. This month, Chanel reformulated their Le Beige Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream, their cream bronzers, which if you've been watching my channel for a while, I did not like the old reformulation. It was very greasy and I didn't really care for the shades. They were way too orange on my complexion. However, they have reformulated it, and I think this is so much better than what they had before, both in the formulation and also in the shades that are offered. At the time of me filming this video, I don't believe that this is available in the US. I purchased mine from Selfridges, so I can link that down below. However, the shipping is kind of a lot if you're shipping it to the US. So I would recommend just waiting, and I will let you know when this is launched. But for the preparation of the launch, I'll let you know, I think this is a very beautiful formula. The old formulation had hydrogenated coconut oil, which a lot of people found to be very heavy, very greasy, maybe like a bit like patchy to blend out as well. The new formula has a coconut oil derivative that at least I think is much lighter weight. I think this is a beautiful luxury bronzer, and the new shade, I think this is new at least, that they came out with is called Light Bronze. This is the lightest shade in the line. I think this is lovely. I think this works well if you have very fair to fair skin like myself. It's not orange at all, but also gives a bit of like toastiness to the skin, like it's not a contour. I think this is beautiful. I think it's worth picking up if you really like Chanel. If this is a bit out of your budget, or if like me, you prefer something that is in sort of a smaller compact, I would check out the NARS Laguna Bronzing Cream, specifically in the lightest shade, Laguna 1. This is almost exactly like the Chanel bronzer. The texture is a little bit different, but I would say equally as lovely. I know when you see the swatches, the NARS one looks like the tone is a bit different, but that's because it is more pigmented. Like you pick up more pigment on your finger right out of the gate. Once you blend them out on your hand or on your face, legit, they look the same. They look so similar. Also, the NARS one has like a tropical scent. The Chanel one has like that Chanel Le Beige skincare type of scent. So maybe that matters to you as well. Personally, I would go with the NARS one. That's the one that I like the best. I like the scent. It's cheaper, it's smaller and everything. But the Chanel one is lovely. And if you like something super lightweight and, you know, a bit neutral in tone, then go with the light bronze. Another bronzer reformulation that we saw this month was from Makeup by Mario. So he reformulated his bronzers, I believe, to be talc-free. The new formulation is talc-free and also blurring, which is the hot buzzword right now on Sephora. Everything is like setting and blurring, and I'm not complaining because I can use some blurring pretty much most days. This is a really nice bronzer. I will say I can't comment on how it compares to the old one, but all I can say is that this is a beautiful bronzer. It is not luminous. I do see some blurring there, and it does a good job of setting my makeup, but it's really not luminous at all. It's more of a matte formulation, and it is very silky, very finely milled without being patchy. Formula-wise, I would say that this new bronzer is most similar to the NARS Laguna talc-free bronzer, which if you've seen my bronzer ranking video, you will know is pretty high on the list. It's pretty high on the list. It's a beautiful talc-free formulation. So that's what I think it's similar to in terms of the formula. The shade, and again, I only have the lightest one, so I can only comment on the shade light. This shade, however, is even better if you're looking for something very subtle. The tone of it is, it's kind of on the pinky side, but not as much as the Gucci bronzer. And the actual pigmentation is a lot lighter and more buildable. So if you've been interested in like the new Dior bronzers or the Dolce & Gabbana one, because they have some really nice subtle shades as well, but they're very warm leaning, check out this one from Mario. It's even more subtle than the NARS, even more so than the Gucci bronzer. It's a different formula, but again, really nice for light skin. So definitely check that out. And if you want some more bronzer recommendations, I am your girl. I will link down below my bronzer ranking video. I have the best bronzers for light skin, and most recently the top 5 luxury bronzers that you can buy. And continuing on the prestige beauty train, I was also really excited to try out the new Merit The Uniform Tinted Mineral Sunscreen. Merit is one of my favorite brands for more of like everyday makeup, especially if I don't have that much time to get ready, if I'm like not filming that day. I don't need to look super glam every day. Their makeup is very unprecedented precious and easy to use. I love to recommend it to my family and friends. And this tinted mineral sunscreen, I think it really did fill a hole in their product lineup because they have the minimalist stick, which is very multi-purpose, and I love that product. But they didn't have like a liquid foundation or anything like that. I really like this. I was a bit concerned because some of the products from Merit can be quite dewy. This is not a super dewy, serum-y, slimy type of formula. It is very hydrating. So if you have dry skin like me, I do think you're going to like it. It's just like that perfect in-between of like hydrating and creamy, but it's not gonna be like slipping and sliding off my face. And it's definitely more of a tinted sunscreen as opposed to a skin tint or like a lighter coverage sunscreen. It gives more coverage than a Chanel Water Fresh tint, but it's not gonna give as much coverage as like, I don't know, a Chantecaille Future Skin or the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin tint. It reminds me a lot of that, except it has sunscreen in it and it's less coverage. I've been wearing this when I have to like go pick up dry cleaning, like go to the grocery store. Maybe I'm like heading to the gym and I walk there, so I need to put on some sunscreen. I want to look a little bit better. It's beautiful if you mix it with the Great Skin Primer for even more glow, or like the RMS Supernatural Radiance Serum. You could put anything like glowy underneath and then this on top and you get even more radiance and a little bit of coverage. So yeah, if you were concerned like me that maybe this would be a little bit too greasy and dewy, I would say give it a try because it's definitely not. I think it's a really great everyday staple. Next up, we have the Danessa Myricks Mini Freedom Palette in the colorway Pastel Dream, which I believe is limited edition if I'm not mistaken. I was not prepared for how popular this palette was going to be. A lot of you are interested in this palette and it's been very hard to get. It comes back in stock and then immediately sells out. I was very lucky. I was able to get mine in New York City at the makeup show because they released it earlier there for like makeup professionals. So I was able to get my hands on this, and if you can get your hands on it, I will say it's a really beautiful palette. I mean, I feel like all of Danessa Myricks' products, whether they work for me or not, are very good quality and have that little sprinkle of innovation and makeup artistry. And I think these mini palettes are particularly approachable for many of us. You know, most of you watching, including myself, are not makeup artists. We want a bit of that Danessa Myricks artistry without needing to be Danessa Myricks. This palette comes with 3 mattes and then 3, basically like 3 duochrome shimmer toppers. The mattes are super smooth, very, very blendable, and the shimmers they're just so beautiful and multi-dimensional. And I mentioned this in another video. I was shocked how little fallout I got from these shimmer shades. When you first apply them, you need to be careful. You gotta tap off your brush, you know, use a flat brush and kind of apply in layers. But once it's on the eyes, literally no fallout. And I did like full day wear tests with this palette, very good quality. So whether you're interested in this one, or I'm sure she's gonna come out with more, just know the formula is very good. And this particular color story, you do get some neutrals, but the colors as well, even though they look kind of bright and very trendy, you can create some soft looks with this palette. You can sheer it out. It looks like it's very bright, especially like the blues, they look like they're gonna be kind of crazy, but I've created some really pretty, soft, spring and summery looks with this. So this gets a big thumbs up for me. I bought it kind of impulsively at an event, but I have really ended up liking it, and I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes out for the future Mini Freedom palettes that she releases. Comment down below and let me know what you think of these new releases. What has been your favorite from this past month? And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, or better yet, go watch another video. Up next, I have the top 5 luxury bronzers that are worth every single penny. I'll see you there.